Good morning, you guys. It is Amanda and Baron with Kickin Cancer Cares on KSLM Radio, 104.3 FM and 1220 AM. Our sponsor for this first half is Oddmost Pizza. So if you have not had pizza from there yet, you are missing out. Their wings are also amazing. Their ingredients are fresh, so definitely give them a try. I recommend the Green Monster and Chicken.
And we're on studio.
No, we are not.
We're at another restaurant.
We are, indeed. We are at Miller's Barbecue and Cafe.
Yes. And if you haven't been to our YouTube channel yet, please go and subscribe so you can see us. We are sitting in front of Miller's Barbecue Cafe sign. Introduce our guest. We got Matt Miller. Welcome.
Hi. Glad to be here.
And Devon Grogans, who does our golf tournaments with us.
Hey, happy to be here.
Yeah. So last week we were at the laser therapy place.
Yes.
So this have you been out there yet, Matt?
I haven't been there yet. Kathy has gone.
Okay.
So I take care of Kathy full time, and we took her out there because John recommended that she go out. John Moore, physical therapy, probably.
Yep.
She just needed a little more than he could do, and it was amazing. She loved it.
Well, I was really amazed. We did this demonstration, and I have this on my finger where I cut it years ago. She had the laser on that, and I just don't feel the pain anymore.
Wow.
Pretty amazing stuff that she has out there. So what was your big takeaway?
Well, my big takeaway was she did this. So she worked on my wrist, and I thought I was cool and would arm wrestle my nephew, and it did not go in my favor. But I really tried to hold strong, and it really hurt. So when I bake and do sourdough and chop, it really was like, oh my. And so she did a laser treatment on it, and this last weekend I was cooking so much, and it hardly hurt. So I'm going to go back for one more. I couldn't believe it. I didn't have to stop and shake and pray. And
It's pretty amazing treatment she does.
So that was my takeaway, that it was
she
real.
did my back when you guys left.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I don't have the pressure that I was feeling before.
Yeah. It works. That's what I got from it. It works.
Check that out.
It's
For
really good
real,
stuff.
for real.
Yeah. Well, I want to go back to our magazine. We've been going through this 100 disease-fighting foods, and I'm sure that Devon might have some thoughts on spinach.
Ooh, I love spinach.
It says you can't go wrong with spinach. It contains alpha lactic acid, which may reduce blood sugar, helps to ward off diabetes, also loaded with potassium, which balances out sodium in the diet and helps prevent high blood pressure. As a bonus, spinach serves as an antioxidant, beta-carotene plus magnesium, iron, and vitamin K.
Wow.
There's a ton of stuff in there.
I'm actually really impressed with that one.
I know. Your thoughts on spinach, Devon?
It's a superfood, so I have a lot of clients that I work with incorporate spinach. We use in place of supplements like ALA, which is great for lowering blood sugar. Potassium, again, another one that's much needed if you're somebody that's on the go, working out, sweating a lot. You got to make sure that you're getting those electrolytes back in you. And then, of course, all of the high fibrous or high amounts of fiber that you're getting that aid in digestion. So tons of good benefits, something that you should be eating. Everybody should be eating at least once a day.
Yeah. If you guys do spinach and any of the stuff you cook here, Matt?
We have a little bit in our salad blend.
Yeah. I love to use spinach in the salad as a replacement to lettuce as an ingredient.
I may have to add that to my garden.
There you go.
I didn't realize it was so powerful.
Very. The only thing that's sad about it is you'll dump like an entire bag of spinach into a dish, and then you get like 2 leaves when you're done.
Yeah.
So it seems.
Yeah.
But it just condenses so much. Like, what happened to all the
It all
spinach?
boils right down.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, awesome. Great food today.
well, I don't have a great update today, but I thought we'd have a different conversation with both Matt and Devon, as they've been with us for a while with Kickin Cancer.
Yeah.
Matt, tell us your introduction to Kickin Cancer. How did you introduce this organization?
Yeah, so my introduction really was through you. I started out Miller's Barbecue, wanting to serve our community, and getting to know you through Chamber. I really fell in love with the Kickin Cancer organization, the mission that you guys have. Mission, I guess I can say we have.
Right.
But really trying to serve people and walk alongside them and be community with them as they're going through their treatments, going through their battle, spoke to me because my aunt had double breast cancer, had both breasts removed, is cancer-free today, but it hit close to home because that was a struggle that we had walked.
Right.
And so I wanted to walk with you through this, however my business could serve.
Right.
Not ever thinking or dreaming that I would be sitting here today on the board helping with activities with Devon and you, growing the organization. I just wanted to walk with you alongside as a supporting member. And so it was just neat to see that happen, and then taking care of Grandma last year when she was diagnosed with cancer. After we had already been talking about the board, now I had another cause, another reason to serve this organization, work with this organization.
Yeah, and this is actually the 50th episode, and so it was just almost a year ago that you were on. Can you tell us your grandma's story one time?
Yeah, so my grandma was diagnosed with breast cancer in January of last year, so 2024. Found a spot in her breast, 99 years old, and it metastasized really quick, went into her lymph nodes, then into her lungs, and into her brain, and she passed at the end of June last year. She ended up choosing death with dignity. We talked about that on episode 2.
Right.
She was on.
And she was with us on that episode.
She was with us.
Yeah,
yes.
that was amazing.
And she made it through the episode relatively good.
Yeah.
But by the time we got home, she was in a lot of pain. It was hard for her to think. But she was on morphine every day, oxycodone every day. And she said, I don't want to die in all this pain.
Right.
I want to choose death. And so it was actually a hard decision. We talked about on the show, but a lot of people struggled with the idea that we were allowing her to commit suicide.
Correct.
What we were allowing her was blessing her with the opportunity to choose how she died.
Right.
And to choose how she went. And she got to go surrounded by family. I played the keyboard for the 2 hours that she was passing. And one of the final songs while she was still awake I played was a song called Beautiful. And every time in the chorus I would say that phrase, you're beautiful, she would look at me and say thank you. She kept looking over thinking I was saying that to her.
Sure.
But she kept looking over and saying thank you. And then she closed her eyes and passed.
Yeah.
And so it was giving her that dignity to choose how she went.
Right.
And I was okay with that.
Yeah.
That was a hard episode, wasn't it?
Yeah. But
Yeah. You've been involved in a lot of our activities. Can you tell the listener a little about the activities that we've done in the past?
Yeah, we've done all kinds of things. We basketball games, partnered with the Salem Capitals. We've done disc golf tournaments with cool discs.
Yeah.
We have the golf tournaments, which last year we did 3. This year we're really going to focus on 2 and try to make those really special. Softball. We've done some pop-up events at multiple other organizations with walks and runs and polar plunge. And we try to go all over.
Lots of places to bring the organization. So we're going to see what we're doing with the organization.
And really talk about a lot of the programs we do, not just the main soul of Kickin Cancer walking with the person, but also with Pathways, the little bit newer program that we have where we're trying to help the kids and help them understand what's going on within their home, within the family, and help walk alongside the kids as well.
Right. So as you look at this community that has been built, what touches your heart the most, Matt?
I think the thing that touches my heart the most is the support. Watching not just the individual who's struggling, but watching the people that come around to support. I remember meeting Devon for one of the first times, and he was just coming alongside to support a friend of his that was going through cancer. People want to support a good cause, but they want to support people. And so when there's somebody struggling, when there's somebody battling cancer, it touches everyone. Because we all know somebody, even if it's not that individual, somebody who's struggling.
Right.
And so it's easier, in my opinion, for us to say, I want to figure out how I can support that person. Whether it's a meal, whether it's a card, whether it's just a cup of coffee. Just to say, I see you. And watching not just those who are connected to Kickin Cancer come around them, but Salem, Kaiser, State, Lebanon, Corvallis, all these communities when somebody in their community pops up and says, hey, I'm struggling and I need help.
Yeah.
Watching that come together has been...
It's pretty powerful.
It's powerful. It's amazing.
We have a blessed community. We really truly do.
Yeah, there's been a lot of incidences where friends will come together and rally around that person as they're going through their battle. Is there one specific one that comes to mind for you, Matt?
For me, the individual I think of the most right now is Russ.
Oh, yeah.
It has been so powerful to see the impact that he's had on the community.
Yes.
Because he's such a positive influencer. And he wants to go around spreading that joy and that love. regardless of what he's going through.
Right.
But then to watch the community wrap around him and say, hey, we know you're struggling, we know you're hurting, and we see you.
Yeah.
And he still puts that face out there and says, hey, I want to make sure you're having a good day. But watching that community come around him every single time has been really fun.
It was interesting as we were going through the events with Russ, and I would go to these different chambers, and how much impact Russ had in all those different chambers as I went around the different chambers. He really has quite an impact in the community.
He brings a lot of life when he walks in the room.
Yeah, and were you able to make it to either one of his concerts?
I didn't. No.
So his concert down in Corvallis was really interesting because a lot of people showed up. There was an auction all set up. There was music playing the whole night. People kept coming up and thinking. And then there's a guy named Mr. G who had said if you wear a tutu in the morning to the tutu run and then show up with a tutu, that you get $100. And so one person actually came wearing that tutu and then gave that $100 back to Russ.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
So tell us a little bit more about this golf tour that's coming up in June.
Yeah, so we have our, what annual is it?
Fourth annual?
Fourth annual golf tournament, Kickin Cancer Golf Tournament at McNamara Golf Course. I don't have my flyer right in front of me, so I don't.
I'm sure it's
flash
up
it
right
on the screen.
It's showing up right
I'm gonna add it.
But we have all these amazing opportunities to be a part of it. You can come and play golf. I know Devon and I, that's one thing we love doing is playing in the tournament. You can be a hole sponsor. So that's one thing that I got connected with initially with my business is I would sponsor a hole. And I got to talk about my business, support the organization. This year we made it the easiest you could ever do. It's $200.
$200.
Easy.
$200 just to come in and be at a hole, and you get to promote your business like I did with Miller's Barbecue. I handed out burn-ins. And it was one of those things. Golfers showed up. They got to eat something that I made for my organization. And I actually booked catering jobs because of it. Mm-hmm. And so it not only helped Kickin Cancer as we were growing, but it helped my business as I was growing and introducing myself to the community. So you can come in and sponsor a hole. You can sponsor at both tournaments. We have the June, and then we also have the one in, is it August?
In July.
End of July. In Staten. You can play at the tournament, have your own team as an individual, play as an individual or have a whole team. You can do that for this tournament or both tournaments. So there's a lot of ways to get involved.
Yeah, I know we've had several businesses already reach out that want to sponsor a hole, and it's really fun to see what they do at those holes, how different activities they have when they go to the holes.
If you need
games and
if you need an activity,
Marshmallow drive.
I did a chipping one at one of the tournaments where you had to chip it into trash cans.
Okay.
So the first trash can I gave away at $5 because it was the easiest one to get into. It was the biggest trash can, shortest distance. You got a $5 gift card to my business.
Okay.
The second one was a $10. Trash can's a little smaller. The third trash can, again, a little bit smaller, but you got a $50 gift card.
Okay.
The final one, I got a really tiny trash can.
You want to get in there?
The farthest away. I had one person make it in.
Oh,
You got
wow.
a $100 gift card.
That's
So
cool.
you can do fun things like that to make your hole really enjoyable, exciting, and it kind of slows that game pace so not everybody stacks up waiting on each other as well.
Yeah. Devon, you play the tournaments.
I have. I've done both. I think initially I came in as a table sponsor and then transitioned into having a team.
I think that very first tournament you were on hole 12, if I remember correctly.
Yep. And then hole 1 the next year.
Yeah.
Or whatever that was. That one right there?
Right at the start.
Yeah.
At the start. So what did you see for the tournaments from your perspective?
Oh, the tournaments are awesome. Having done both sides, from a table perspective, the amount of people that I was able to interact with through the audiology business, inform people on the benefits of having their hearing tested, hearing checks, just things that most people don't think about, was great. Just like Matt, it opened up a lot of business opportunities. Which for our business, unless somebody normally is seeking us out directly, it can be hard to get in front of people. So it makes it a really good opportunity to get in front of people. And then oddly enough, I had just as much success playing, talking to people, talking to the whole sponsors, and just having conversations that it allowed us to benefit as a business as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And then now your role in the organization as a golf tournament director, but you were on the board at one time.
Yes.
What do you see from the organization? What's your perspective of the organization?
Oh man, the thing that really brought me to want to be a part of this was when you and I met and you were telling me how Kickin Cancer operates. Most places that are trying to receive proceeds to benefit somebody are simply asking for money. There's nothing wrong with that. But coming from a marketing background, it was a completely different perspective from Kickin Cancer. It was two things. And it's two things that almost every major business that's successful really hones in on, and that's culture and community. Aside from Folgers, I couldn't tell you what's good coffee and what's not. I can tell you I don't like Folgers. Outside of that, you give me a cup of Starbucks and you give me a cup from Dutch Bros, and they're both coffee to me. However, people decide where they want to go, not based off of the coffee, but based off of the culture that each one represents and the community that they drive. And that's really what Kickin Cancer brings to the table. It's more than just, hey, donate to somebody in your community, which, yes, is important, but it's bringing people in from the community to participate outside of monetary value that create the culture within that community to really allow them to be seen, like Matt said, and to really drive the need for that specific person, because it's not always monetary. Sometimes it is a meal. Sometimes it is just a hug. But it's what I love most about Kickin Cancer, and that's the culture and the community that is generated behind each one of these events, and each one is so unique to the person.
Right.
Not every person wants a golf tournament or a fun run, but if they enjoy those things, then we can rally behind that in doing something that they enjoy to really help bring a better community perspective to it.
Yeah, and I think that was the case. I remember I was at an event myself, and I got a phone call from you about someone you knew that was being affected by cancer, and that we began to formulate a plan to assist that family out. And it was really interesting to watch his employer come together to support him from many areas as they came.
Yeah, San Francisco, a couple people from the East Coast all flew in because he was in a very important piece of the business, but somebody that everybody enjoyed.
Right.
And so to see that rally, not only from the local company, but companies that they do business with, fly in to support him is huge.
Yeah. It really is amazing to see what happens when community will come together for people. So I want to deviate just for a second and talk about the direction that maybe we go in the future with this organization. And as we begin to branch out, Matt, how do you see Kickin Cancer affecting other communities in other areas? What do you think could have benefited that it might?
Yeah, I'm actually really excited. So this year as a board, we made a big decision to actually bring you on full time to help run the organization and put more focus into it. But we also made a really cool decision this year to grow 5 communities. So we really started right here in Salem. We branched out last year into Vancouver, but we didn't really put the energy into developing it correctly.
Right.
And we took a lot of the winter to say, okay, what are the steps we really need to have in place to grow an effective community outside of Salem? We've done it here, but how do we duplicate that?
Right.
And what we put together is a great game plan on replicating what we did here with somebody like Barron. So finding a second Barron in another city that wants to grow Kickin Cancer, and then working with them and giving them the tools to grow the same way we did here. And so we just went to Bend this last week,
yeah,
and met an individual who said, I have a passion for growing Kickin Cancer right here in my community. I want to support people going through cancer. I want to be a part of this. And so we had our first meet and greet, and we're going to start walking alongside her to develop a community in Bend. We have our community in Vancouver that we are still growing and still developing and giving tools to. And we have a couple other communities already identified that have individuals that said, hey, I believe in this mission, I believe in this passion, I want to be a part. And so being able to grow our organization into 5 communities this year is going to be really cool.
That's going to be an amazing task for us to head onto. I know that when I went over to Bend, and I met this lady Cindy over there, and it was in her house, and she had about 50 people that showed up, And there's really a desire over there to educate people on how to not get cancer. And so the plan is just to continue to move forward with that, to continue to help them build that out over the Bend area, and see where it all goes from there. So we're excited for the future of where that's going to head, and how that's all going to play out. So, well, this is awesome to have these guys with us, isn't it?
Yeah, and the education piece is my favorite part because I've learned so much. Cancer hasn't affected me directly; it's affected my husband and his family. And so what I like about the education piece is that I can be proactive to better my body and my health and my families to not get cancer and just to be as healthy as we can be. Thank you for being here.
Well, that was.
I love it.
Initially that was the idea, was that we could try to create these seminars that people can learn from, and then build upon that as we move forward. I'm not sure where it's going to go from here.
Only up.
Only up, I guess.
Only up.
I guess.
Up and out.
Yeah, up and out.
Up and out.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Up and out.
I am excited for one event we're going to launch this year, which will be our first annual. But we're going to do a color gala.
Yes.
And so we've locked down the date. We're still getting all the final information of what it's going to cost. But we have the venue, and we're going to do a country music concert.
Oh, I love it.
And so it's going to be a way where people can donate if they want to, but people are going to pay for a ticket, and that's the donation.
Mm-hmm.
And outside of most events that we go to all the time with other organizations, you have that hard ask at every event. Okay, pull out your wallet, write a check. This one's going to be a little different. The ticket cost plus your donation.
Okay, yeah.
There'll be a soft ask. There's going to be a QR code. If somebody feels generous and really wants to donate, it'll be there.
Yeah.
But the whole idea is we're going to show up, we're going to represent all the colors of cancer, whether it's breast cancer, whether it's colon cancer, kidney cancer, brain cancer, whatever it is. You'll come in the color that really speaks to you, and then we'll do a walk across the stage with each color. And when you're wearing that color, you'll stand up in the audience. And we'll get to the end of the colors, and we will look around the room, and hopefully everybody will be on their feet. But everybody will be saying, we will say, see, as a community, cancer touches everyone.
Yeah, it really does it to everybody.
So that's going to be the intro to the concert. And then we have an amazing artist, Jessie G, who I went to high school with. She's up and coming in the country music world in Nashville. She's going to put on a 90-minute concert for us. And she really strongly believes in our organization and what we're doing to help educate about cancer, because that's something that's a big piece in her life. And
Has Jessie been diagnosed with cancer?
Not Jessie, but some of her family members.
Okay.
Yeah, and so she's passionate about wanting to support. So she's doing a 90-minute concert for us, and then we'll finish up the show with our honoring our survivors and those who have battled cancer as our finishing of the concert. So it's going to be a great night, great way to support the organization, having fun, come and do a concert, and it's just different.
Yeah.
Something that we haven't been doing in our community for a while.
Well, I think the key is there's a lot of organizations that have a luncheon. When we go to a luncheon, and there's always an ask. But this is kind of an idea that you came up with as a different way to go, isn't it?
I also like the fact that you'll be able to identify everybody by the color, and so it'll help people be like, hey, I went through this, and be able to talk and connect and create more of a support system for each other as well within that, because they'll be able to recognize the colors and what they're going through.
I'll be in
Cultivating culture and building community.
a
Yes.
full pink suit.
Full pink suit.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
Looking forward to
Trying to
that.
envision doing a full pink suit like that. Well, this has been a great segment here, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
Mention the website for any of the events.
So if you go to kicking-cancer.org, there's an event tab, and it's going to have all the events we have coming up. And of course, the next one coming up is going to be the golf tournament in the first part of June. And that's kind of where we're at right now.
Okay, perfect. Then I'm going to give a huge shout out to Odd Modes. Thank you so much, Mike, for sponsoring this first half. We wouldn't be able to broadcast to you guys without him. So make sure you show up and support his amazing pizza. If you were looking for gluten-free options, they have a gluten-free cauliflower crust for their pizza that is to die for. So go check them out. All right, we'll be right back, you guys. Stay tuned.